Hello everyone and welcome back to the Enhanced Shaman leveling. For those on YouTube, thank you again for tuning in. For the 0 people in the stream, thank you again for tuning in, of course. Yeah, just give me 1 second here. Alright, everything looks good on my end, so let's get into it. I'm going to pick it up back right where we left off. Where we left off, I don't remember. It's been 2 weeks. Right. I was getting my professions. Did I get fishing? I did, okay. What am I missing profession-wise, then? I got first aid, I got leatherworking, I got skinning, and I got fishing. Oh, I have them all. Cool. That's amazing. I don't know if anything here left over is an upgrade for me. Oh, that is. What do I need to make this? I need 3 course thread. Let's go grab that so I can make these.
Looking for something special? May the eternal sun shine upon you.
Right, nothing else is great. Alright, cool. We got those on now. Let's just make some light armor kits. I think I probably already made them, actually, yeah. I know myself too well. Oh, yeah, we're just gonna follow them, going along with these quests here. Actually wanna change this. Come on now. So let me. Oh, brother. I feel like I probably said that I was gonna do something this episode, and I immediately forgot what it was. So, probably something like go over mine. Why is this not letting me do anything with this? Oh, there we go. Weird. Yeah, I probably said I was gonna do something, and I have no idea what it is. So, we're just gonna let it rock. You know? We're just gonna let it rock. Oh, I'm at 96 silver? Okay, alright, it's not terrible. We're a healthy level 7 here, guys. We're looking at scraps. Getting our bags is going to be incredibly important. To a degree that I can't really describe, it's going to be an important prospect. I mean, I think anyone that watches this knows how important bags are. But bag space is at a premium at all times. Jeez. I mean, if like, that's crazy. Like the speed in which that that bot went at, that was honestly something to behold.
With my reaction to the bot out of the way, I just went on and just started completing some of my quests as one would in World of Warcraft. And in the first episode, I had specifically said that I would not be creating any sort of level goals per stream. And I started to do that in this stream for level 10.
I am hoping to get to level 10 soonish. I don't think it'll be tonight. I'm only giving myself an hour and 15 minutes for most of these streams. But getting to level 10 as soon as possible will be pretty dope. The main point being that I need to figure out what the rating situation actually looks like, because that will redefine the challenge. Will say I'm pleasantly surprised with the amount of people I've actually seen walking around. Obviously, there weren't too many right now, but we have seen people when we're in Mulgore and stuff. Not Mulgore, actually, that's exactly where we are. No, we see a few people here in Bloodhoof Village. So that gives me some level of hope that perhaps there are people looking to raid. We'll see though. It's among the things that need to be looked at. There are a few other things. The main one on my mind is Phase 2. Is really awkward, to say the least. Phase 2 is when world bosses drop, and that completely changes the landscape, right? Because you don't have the first 2 raids anymore. But for our purposes, it can be pretty negative because I won't be. There's someone right there. Is that the same druid? No, it's a different shaman. I thought it was a druid. I didn't see the. Like, I saw it after the fact, but he had the lightning shield. The real thing is that we're getting into raids is probably already going to be difficult, especially as an enhanced shaman, especially on the era servers. Getting to get into a group where I'm able to do a world boss is probably going to be nigh impossible. And the reason I say that is historically in the era server and in Dream Scythe, the world bosses are camped by guilds. And I don't, beyond the fact that part of the challenge is to remain guildless, I don't know if I have the bandwidth to actually get into one of those. I have to take life into account to some extent, and part of the issue is, I do have a full-time job. I'm getting my master's degree at the same time. I don't know if I can stay up late enough or long enough and sort of be on call for a world boss. Now, if this were to, for whatever reason, become a full-time job, which I don't believe it will by any means, that'd be another story. I'd be willing to make that work, but as it stands, it's not something I'm really fixing to try. We'll see though. We'll see what it looks like when we get to that point in time. it's gonna be an interesting sort of adventure. Again, doesn't really matter until I can find out what the rating situation looks like to begin with. Because if the rating situation is absolutely horrific, then nothing is going to matter anyway. I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping it's that there is some possibility for a raid. Now, depending on what raids look like and where we end up, some of these raids are long, and that will affect the streaming time and like the length, the time, the day. When it comes to raids, I'll probably try to be doing those on the weekends in the middle of the day. But this is all sort of speculative. Who knows, maybe I'll find time throughout the days on like Tuesdays or something that it's going to be my raid day. Because there are some days off rip that I know won't work for me, because that's when I raid on anniversary server, which is my priority. You know, phase 3 is about to come out, so I gotta be ready for that. We'll see though. I mean, I'd like to try to actually do this. Obviously, again, long ways away. We're not even out of Bulgor, which I am a little worried. It's been a while since I've done this run in Era. You know, doing it in Anniversary isn't so bad, but I am a tad bit worried about doing it in Era server.
With a very long and frankly premature discussion about what Phase 2 BIS would look like for my enhanced shaman here, it is something I actually have to look at. In Phase 1, the raids you get are Molten Core and Onyxia's Lair. Easy enough, shouldn't be a problem to get into. Phase 3 is when you get Blackwing Lair. If I do well in Molten Core and Onyxia, it shouldn't be an issue getting into there. The issue is Phase 2. Phase 2 comes with Azurgos and Kazakh. This is problematic. I do have gear in Phase 2 that comes off of them and is, technically speaking, my BIS. I think it's only 2 pieces. I know, for one, the Puissant Cape off of Azurgos is one of them. The other thing with Phase 2 is that that's when I could start getting High Warlord gear. High Warlord gear also plays a factor into this, and I will be doing a ton of PvP during this time. I also need to get Exalted with the Warsong Outriders. There are quite a few things I end up needing to do to make full BIS for P2. P2 is going to be rough. I have to make a decision if I'm going to force myself to really get anything in regard to the world bosses. It might actually only be the one item, but that one item is going to be incredibly difficult to get. And then, if I'm not mistaken, it gets outclassed immediately in Phase 3. I'd have to double check. It actually might not. When would it get? Let me. I think it's either Phase 3 or 4 that it just no longer. Yeah, one of the two. I think Phase 3 or Phase 4 that it immediately becomes not as good. So it is something that actually has to be taken into account, and that decision will be made later on. I'm going to look at how things are in the server and see sort of what the vibe is. If I get the vibe that I can actually do it, then I'll do it. But it might end up being like with legendary items where they are not required, but if I can get them, I should. So, yeah. And then after having that whole rant, I go on a tangent about actually playing World of Warcraft.
I do like the leveling experience in Classic is decent enough. You know, this is a big this game is a lot more about the journey than, you know, the destination kind of thing. But let me tell you, I'm always ready for the destination in this game. Raiding is just, in my opinion, just like just the best experience that you can have in World of Warcraft. I have a buddy that, you know, when he plays, he pretty much only wants to reorganize a bit. When he plays, he only likes to do dungeons. That's like his big thing. Which is, you know, to each their own, right? But I think he takes a lot out of the game for himself with that, for no discernible reason. But, you know, it's everyone else, you know, what everyone makes the game on their own is, you know, for them to make the game. I do just wonder why he thinks that is like the end all be all of the game, is to just do dungeons. Again, there's nothing wrong with the dungeons. I enjoy the dungeons quite a bit. One of the things I'm gonna do at some point, probably when there's a lull period in the actual gameplay, like if I'm waiting for like professions to be done, or if I'm waiting on, yeah, that was a bad move, or if I'm waiting on something like just getting into a raid or something, I might post a video kind of like explaining my thoughts on like certain dungeons. I'd go by level, like what I think about this dungeon, what I like about it, what I dislike. That's one of those things. It's like a if/when I get there. Ooh, I'm at a social gold with this. No, okay, awesome. You know, I should probably put this down actually. Sometimes there's a chest. I want that barrel. Sometimes there's a chest around here. I'm definitely gonna have to fight that ogre. Let's see, actually, can I just kind of sneak in? Nah, I gotta fight him. It's gonna really suck when this Mark of the Wild goes out. I'm here. Why is it not? Why is it not going? Oh, I gotta find a supply crate. Oh, there we go. I think I checked. This is another one though. Like, I'm gonna be doing first aid pretty frequently because all these drop often. First aid's gonna be important because I don't want to waste mana on downtime. I'm not gonna get like Petri or anything like the real heavy players get. That's a little too much for me. Just 1 second. I just need to double check something. Why is that not working for me? Why is that just not... I don't want to walk to a tree, but... Why is this not showing me what I want to see? Why? Why can't I see what I want to see? There we go. Hold up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but some streams might go over a lot of time. None, however, will go under it. I'm gonna try to stick to a minimum more than like oh, that's gonna be the maximum. Oh. I'm so used to these being 30 minutes instead of 5. I think this guy does give me a two-handed weapon. I'm gonna try to make my way to Mulgore sooner rather than later. I keep saying Mulgore, I mean Thunderbluff. Yeah, the Goblin Smasher. This is a Tauren-only weapon, which I think is really funny. But that's probably just what I want over this dagger. I definitely want the Goblin Smasher. Ooh, gonna work. That's definitely like I need to go to Mulgore. I need to go to Thunderbluff for that then. I didn't let the stone fall enough. The more and more I think about Mulgore's zone, I guess the more and more I go in between liking it and disliking it. I don't know. It's definitely not my favorite starting zone. I think that's got to be Elwyn Forest. Elwyn Forest is kind of the goat. I know a lot of people like Dunmoreau as well. I don't know. I don't know if I like Dunmoreau that much. I get a little bored in Dunmoreau because there's so much snow that there's not too much you can do with it. I mean, granted, plains are plains. You can say the same thing about Durotar. You can say the same thing about Elwyn. I guess really the only one that you can say that about are Teldrassil and Tier 12 Blades. I don't know. It's really, at the end of the day, it's unimportant, but it's like interesting to think about while you're playing, like, oh, how do you feel about this place? How do you feel about that place? It also, like, I don't know, if my first time playing World of Warcraft I rolled a Tauren, I'd probably enjoy the game a lot less than I do at the present. Not because there's anything wrong with Tauren inherently, but just because it's a little more fantasy-esque. Like, now I like fantasy and all that, but it's a little, I think, for a first time like player, it's probably a little weird being like a big cow that isn't a minotaur. Because like I think, if it was a minotaur, it'd be like oh, mythology, but it's more like these tribal cows. And I think because of how Mulgore is set up, it's just not like, I think I said this last time, it's not super inviting when the spread of level doesn't always make sense. Like in this area, like closer to the road, it's higher level than further from the road, which normally, like, when you go away from the road is the quote-unquote safer area, but when you're close to the road here, it's harder. Like, you got the level 10 alphas, you got the, I can't click on it, but you got like these higher level mobs than inward, which is, it's a little odd, and I think it's really a failing of Mulgore.
Failings of Mulgore aside, one of the more interesting things about the difficulty of classic World of Warcraft in particular is your bag space. In both episodes so far, I've spoken about it quite often, actually, how difficult it can be with bags. Especially in the early levels, if you're not playing on a tune that's in a guild or has something to really be the benefactor for it. So it can be rather difficult. That said, one of the interesting things about Mulgore is that there's a chest that can respawn rather quickly and can drop bags.
Let me check. Oh, I think I should be good. Far enough away. Oh, see, look, it was so worth it. That's massive. Absolutely. It's so sad being like, oh yeah, I got a random bag, but like, man, bag space is part of the challenges of classic WoW. Like, I mean, you can still experience it in retail to some extent if you're not paying attention. But let me tell you, classic, it's definitely much more imperative that you get your bags, because it's a dog eat dog world out there when you don't have bags. I'm gonna have to go back to Thunderbluff anyway, because that's where the forge I'm gonna use is. I think the idea is that you do go here to use the forge, but I don't feel like fighting my way through to get to that forge. These have an 80% drop rate, and I feel like this has been not 80%. There we go. Yes, I just did that to save a back slot. I have no shame. Hold up. Oh yeah. I think Enhanced Shaman's so funny when it comes to stuff like that, because I don't know, I don't just keep taking my totem out of the equation. Enhanced Shaman's really funny because it's like, yeah, the shield is kind of just there to begin with. It's more of like a resto and like late resto, late alley shaman thing to have a shield not enhanced, but I don't get two-handed weapons right away, so I need my shield. Yeah, level 10 might not be as out of the question as I thought. Is that really not better? Oh, I can't use axes. Did the chest already respawn? Oh my god. Could there be another bag in here? Oh, no, but that's crazy. The chest already respawned. Does put me in a little bit of a situation here, though. I know. I'm basing it off of the value of the items, though. I'm gonna start moving down. I'm excited for when I get Frost Shock. I like Frost Shock quite a bit. I can't carry anymore. Yeah. Alright. We're getting into a little bit of a problem again here. I mean, I guess I'm gonna kill you first, then I'm gonna Thunder Bluff. Alright, come on now. Yeah. I gotta make my way back to Thunder Bluff, sell some stuff. Not great for the RNG, but not terrible for the fact that we need gold. That is important. I guess enhancement could use shields, actually. You know what? I actually think, now that I'm thinking about it, I think two-handed weapons is a talent.
After debating with myself a few times about how to actually extend this stream, because I really wanted to get to level 10 that night, I did, eventually make it to level 10. Woohoo! And this was really important because it meant I got to look at raids. I got to start actually building my my talents up, and I can confirm that two-handed weapons is in fact on the skill tree.
Not until like a different. Let's go level 10. Big ups, big ups. Let's look at raids. That's actually, I don't want to list myself for now. Oh! Wow, look at that. Apparently I'm locked out on OmniCC. Yeah, there it is. So, like, what I meant by that is, like, I'm gonna put in a leveling build, and then I'm gonna do, when I hit level 60, I'm gonna do my raid build. No off-specking or anything. Anticipation. But we're in the Barrens now. In the Barrens, ready to do what needs to be done. And that means getting this fight point. And we can actually go somewhere now. How far over time did I actually end up going? Only 5 minutes. Thank you all so much for watching. I don't think I forgot to do anything this episode, so remember to like, follow, and subscribe. And remember, stay beefy. Have a great night.